All right, all guests on ZASLOW Show 2.0 brought to us by the official beer of the program, Johnny Cuba. That's how we're going to enjoy the Heat game tonight. We're on the couch in the ZASLOW Mansion family room. I'm a game time decision whether or not I'll be watching in my underwear or not, but we will have a Johnny Cuba in our hands. You can pick up a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba, your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie. Remember, always drink responsibly. And of course, don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. Evan Cohen joining us here, host of ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, alongside Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman. Are you excited that you can talk a little bit? You could force your way into talking Heat basketball on ESPN Radio, really for the first time tomorrow. Have you figured out how you're going to wedge your way into that?
Oh, I'll figure out a way of slipping it in. I have to be honest, I don't know how hot of a topic Heat Pistons is nationally tomorrow, but I hope it is, because Jimmy drops 50 or Bam drops 50, or probably more likely Tyler.
No, it's Hero.
Yeah,
it's Hero tonight.
More likely Tyler drops 50. But this is one of the coolest things about being at ESPN now, is that, like, yesterday I'm just sitting in the green room area, and Tim Legler's there, who I've known for years, working with him on NBA radio on Sirius. You just talk basketball. Like, I just love basketball, being back. Ryan Windhorst, who I love, in studio with us today. And yeah, I think the Heat, it's funny, after the show today at like 10:01, I had the conversation with our team, and we were all talking about tomorrow's show, meaning Thursday. What day are we? Thursday. And I said, Michelle said to me, she's like, so Heat Pistons tomorrow? I was like, I can't force it too much. I know that they are probably a national story in the postseason more than they are in the regular season. But here's my flip, okay? So I'm glad you actually led me in this way, because I had this in my back pocket to get to with you, because, I come prepared for your shows, Ed,
okay,
versus the other one. I have been waiting for the Heat to have the continuation season from the year before, and that has not happened recently. What do I mean by that? When you do the run it back, one of the benefits of the run it back in theory should be you pick up where you left off, and you're the 1 seed.
Right.
Boston has a new team, right? Great team, but a new team. Milwaukee, I think we've heard, has a new team. Great team, but a new team. Philadelphia, now to some extent with the Harden situation, has a new team. We as Heat fans are not watching a new team. We're watching the same starting lineup likely that finished the season-ish with Kyle versus Gabe. We're basically looking with Richardson out at the same rotation, add Thomas Bryant. Who knows if Jaquez or Jovic play? So can we see this team actually pick up where they left off and maybe have a 1 seed?
Yeah, you thought you were getting that last year, and I guess in the end game you did, because they went from the East Finals to the Finals. But last year's regular season was such a shitburger for most of the season. You absolutely did not pick. Yeah, you did not pick up where you left off. You would have thought last year would have been a year where, okay, we were the number 1 seed last, in 2022. We should be the number 1 seed again in 2023, and the regular season stunk. So you're right. That's an interesting way to look at it. I think they're going to take I shouldn't say take a step back record-wise, because they win 43 games last year, 44 games last year.
I think they win more. I think conventional wisdom with this team this year is, barring a move, they win more in the regular season and lose more in the postseason.
Oh, see, I think it's the opposite. I think they're going to take a step back regular season-wise, believe it or not, because I really think that this regular season needs to be about preparing some of these secondary players to be postseason contributors. They lost postseason contributors who were secondary players, and now you got a bunch of them on this team. You need to make sure they're ready for the playoffs, and I think that could cost them some regular season games.
Well, regular season games can cost them last year. They were horrible. Sad. You and I watched 82 games, right? And honestly, I love the Miami Heat. You love the Miami Heat. You got rings to show for it. It was painful watching last year. Yeah. Last year's logic towards this year would indicate losing tonight against Detroit, being down 20 against Boston, and winning on Friday. That's the pain that we would suffer as fans, fan pain, not life pain, every freaking game. I don't want to do that anymore. I just don't think they're going to be worse in the regular season. I am banking on this continuation theory I have here and banking on the picking up where they left off. And yeah, I think Jaime Jaquez Jr., if healthy, can contribute right away. Do I think they're going to make moves along the way? Yes, I do. Do I think that both Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry will be in the rotation for 2 weeks and then not in the rotation for whatever reason for the next 2 weeks? Yes, absolutely. Do I think that Tyler Hero will be awesome this year? Yes. Do I think as a result of him being awesome, could I see he and Jimmy butting heads? Yes. Because there'll be games where Tyler will take late game situations in his hands and Jimmy will be standing there like, hello, I'm the greatest postseason performer this franchise has seen outside of D-Wade and LeBron. Where am I in the mix, right? So I could visualize all of this stuff, but I just keep coming back to better in the regular season, worse in the postseason, barring a move.
Eric Spoelstra, I love Eric Spoelstra. He's the best coach in the NBA.
No doubt.
But how with a straight face can we roll out a starting lineup with Lowry and Love?
Okay, you're presenting a problem. Present me a solution.
Well, I think that Caleb Martin is going to get squeezed out of the starting lineup in favor of Love. And,
no problem with that.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about picking up where you left off from last year. Like, wouldn't that mean Caleb Martin is in the starting lineup and is, I mean.
But he wasn't.
In the playoffs, he was.
Kevin Love was in the starting lineup. He just didn't play that much.
Right.
In the starting lineup, Caleb Martin. So this is where I think this whole thing got twisted. So if the Dame trade happened, in my head, Caleb Martin was going to be the starting shooting guard. Because if Dame is the one, he makes a lot of sense as the two, in my mind. If Tyler's there, the concept of playing Tyler and Caleb in the backcourt doesn't make any sense to me at all because of the fact that I don't like the idea of Tyler as a point guard. We've seen that before. I don't think that's the best spot for him. I also think we've seen Rook 2, Josh Richardson, as a point guard. People want to forget that. There was a year where they made him basically the best player on the team. They said, you are going to be the best player on the team. You're going to have the ball a bunch, and we're going to make you the point guard. And it didn't work. It just didn't. So Kyle Lowry, by default, is the starting point guard. Now, I actually am way higher on Kyle Lowry for this year.
Well, but also the reason it didn't work with Richardson as the starting point guard that year was because they want him to be the point guard, and they also want him to be the best player on the team.
Right.
He's not the best player on this team.
He's not a point guard in my mind. He's just not. He's more of a Swiss Army knife defender, can do this, can do a little of that. I don't like him as a starting point guard. Kyle Lowry, to me, is the singular and only option as starting point guard on this team, unless you wanted to decide to make Jimmy Butler a point guard, which I would not do. So with all of that, what are you going to do at that 4 spot? Kevin Love makes the most sense because he can guard bigs, you can put Bam on wings, and you can bring Caleb Martin off the bench when Jimmy basically slides over to the 4. The Caleb Martin at 4 experiment was a terrible one last year. It was out of default. They thought, hey, and by the way, numerically, I understand when people say that he was better than PJ Tucker numerically at that position, but there's just things that you would watch and like, okay, PJ Tucker would be able to do something there that Caleb would not be able to do. This is the most logical starting lineup. I think that this could be the 3rd or 4th group of 5 in terms of minutes played. Like you could see 3 other groups of 5 play more minutes than the starting lineup plays this year for the Heat. But to start a game, I think this makes the most sense to me.
Ideally, who do you when everyone is available? Ideally, who do you want to see playing off the bench?
Okay, so you're looking at basically Richardson, Martin, Robinson, Jaquez, Highsmith, Jovic, Bryant, Kane. Drew Smith may have to play. I haven't seen it yet in him. So that's 8. That's 8 guys. I mean,
just give me 14. You just give me 14 total guys.
Right. No, I'm going through this here.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave Orlando Robinson out because I think it's actually pretty clear, despite his dominance over the summer, he's not in the rotation currently. That could change.
Correct.
But he feels like he's not in the rotation.
Correct.
See, I think you're overrating the amount of minutes Love is going to play. Love may actually be the 10th man as a starter. Love may play the 10th most minutes, 9th most minutes on this team, and he may be a starter. See, I think that watching Coach Spo, as long as you and I both have, there are going to be weeks where Love plays a lot and then he doesn't. Jovic plays a lot and then he doesn't. Jaquez plays a lot, and he doesn't. So if you're asking who is in the rotation, no matter what, all year, if that's the question, as we sit here today, Butler, Adebayo, Hero, Martin. That's it.
I think everyone else, it could be just a nightly matchup-based rotation.
Well, let's walk through it. Could you see a scenario? Kyle's banged up, add a rotation a little bit. I could. Richardson, I mean, we like to spin it positively, but you could see him getting 7 minutes in a game. Thomas Bryant, too early for me to say he's going to be a significant rotation player. Haywood Highsmith, he actually may be fifth on the, you could see him in game, I know he's injured, but like theoretically, game one and the NBA Finals, could he play in? He actually is their kind of player where you can see that kind of, defensively, but I'm not even ready to go there. I mean, Jaquez is a rookie. Jovic is about 14 years old, right? All of these guys.
I want to see Jamal Cain play.
But again, he's only actually has a certain amount of games he's allowed to play, basically.
Why do you think they gave Drew Smith the contract and not Jamal Cain? Because the only explanation I can come up with is they're planning on trading Kyle Lowry.
I saw your tweets on this, and I know you've been talking about this a bunch. So my angle on that is a little bit different. I think you actually can keep Jamal Cain longer a number of years than you can Drew Smith by doing it this way. Because if you get him through this year and you start his full 3-year deal next year, you actually have him for 4 years. Smith, you only have for 3.
Okay.
So if you can navigate this year, now I don't believe he's eligible for the postseason though. If you have him on a 2-way,
correct?
Right? Because they have to convert Caleb a couple of years ago.
Yep.
But so basically, unless I'm missing somebody's ass, I'm going to give you 4 guys that I think definitively will be in the rotation the entirety of the year that I cannot see them. Well, Tyler, I could see them maybe moving. I mean, is Duncan, based on last year, I can't say he's in the rotation all year. Based on the way he played in the playoffs, he should be.
I'd like to see him in the rotation tonight. Like, I feel like he's a guy you go to tonight.
And I want to see how he does off the dribble like he did last year. Mm-hmm. But again, I think what you and I are stumbling on is there are 4 current players on this roster that as long as they are on the roster, regardless of how they're playing, slump or no slump, in the rotation all year long. 4. Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, Caleb.
It's amazing.
I mean, are we wrong with this?
No, and I hope you're not wrong. Yeah.
Like, you want everybody yo-yoed. Everybody else yo-yoed based on how they're playing. In, out, whatever. Yep. If I said to you, pick a fifth, that from tonight or their first game, so we'll use Highsmith and Richardson, from their first game, the individual, to the Heat's last game, the 5th most likely in the rotation no matter what player.
I think Thomas Bryant's going to play.
Now remember, he was on the Nuggets last year. He won a championship and did not play.
Right, but we've seen what happens the last couple years when Bam's not on the floor, when it be Cody Zeller or Dwayne Dedmon out there. I feel like what we've seen already from Thomas Bryant is a much more capable player. Yes,
I'm not arguing that. The one thing he's a little too similar to Bam in is that he ain't that tall for a center. He's 6'9", right? Mm-hmm. Right around there, 6'10" max. I mean, they Orlando Robinson's their only 7-footer that they're going to play here.
Yeah.
Now, Jovic may be taller than all of them, right? But
I want to be excited about Jovic, and I look at a guy who just doesn't look ready. Just doesn't look ready.
He just graduated high school.
Yep.
Your oldest son is closer in age to Jovic than you are. Think about that.
A lot closer.
A lot closer.
A lot closer.
Both of us. But I'm just saying, like
I think Jovic is like 5 years older than my son.
Your oldest son is how old?
Almost 15.
Yeah. So he's 5 years older? Like we're in high school together in theory.
I'm more than twice Jovic's age.
You could be Jovic's dad.
Yeah,
and your son could be in high school with Jovic.
I could. What do you make of
ruins Zaz's day? He's like so miserable.
What do you make of the last few days with Bradley Beal and Damian Lillard both coming out and straight up saying, I wanted to go to Miami. I feel like, unfortunately, it's had the Heat fan and a lot of folks on Twitter, they've been very negative about the Heat now going into the season. I don't feel that way. I'm super excited to see this team play. I'm super excited going into any new Heat season. I think it's a bad job out of the Heat fan if you're going into this season super negative. You're complaining about Mickey Arison being cheap. even though the Heat have the 9th highest payroll in the entire NBA. So forget about, actual facts, but the Heat's theory on they could tell you about the no trade clause, and I agree with the Heat's line of thinking when it comes to that kind of stuff. But the real issue was they pass on Beal because they think it's worth waiting on Lillard, and their plan worked because Lillard became available, and he specifically demanded to go to the Heat. The Heat can't help it if Joe Cronin is a cockroach. So give me some thoughts there.
We said a lot, obviously. So a few things. I think with any organization, any business in life, one of the easiest things to do is say hello. And what I mean by that is, yeah, we'll hire Zaz. Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll pay X amount of money. Yeah. We'll bring in this. We'll have this partnership. That's awesome. Yeah. Great. That's awesome. The hardest thing is have the discipline to either say goodbye or say no. And the resistance the Miami Heat have had in saying either goodbye, or the discipline, excuse me, not resistance, the discipline in saying goodbye, Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, amongst others, or having the resistance to say no, Bradley Beal. Let's not put Dame in there because I don't think that was them saying no. But all these other players, Kevin Durant, for Bam, right, has triggered them since 2006 to win 3 championships and to be in the finals 7 times.
Yep.
7 times. And so when the Miami Heat make the decision that we are going to have the resistance and we are going to have the discipline and we're going to say no to Bradley Beal and we're not going to cross a certain threshold for Dame Lillard. And if you as a Heat fan are sitting back and questioning that, I have no understanding as to what you've looked at the last 4 years.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. I have no understanding of what you've looked at with this organization, because if they just said hello to everyone, if they just took every player that was available or wanted them or traded whatever it is to get them, there's no level of high-end consistency. I don't know how many times this organization has proven itself where if there's ever an organization in this sport that you should have blind faith in, it's this one. Instead of sitting there saying, oh, Bradley Beal wanted us or Dame Lillard wanted us, I would instead ask the question about what do they know that we don't? Who is it that is going to pop this year in a way that is going to outperform their contract? That they are telling you that Tyler Hero will be worth $54 million, same number as Bradley Beal or somewhere around there this year. That's what they have told you. That they think that Tyler Hero would be worth that. They also think that Dame Lillard would be worth that, hence giving up Tyler Hero for him. And they're probably going to be right. Dame Lillard will be a $50 million player for the Milwaukee Bucks. They have told you that trading Caleb Martin, who makes $6 million, will be worth $12 to $20 million. He was worth way more than that against the Boston Celtics. Okay? So I don't know how many times the Heat need to show their discipline, their ability to either say no thanks, or goodbye, for fans to be convinced that this organization not only knows what they're doing, but is playing for June and always plays in June. Stop doubting them. Who they get is who they want. Who they don't give up is who they don't want to give up. Who they say goodbye to, while maybe difficult, means that they don't believe that Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, for them, can outperform the contract. They have proven it so many times. And they're actually deeper to start this season than they were last season. The number one concern I have about the Miami Heat, the single number one concern. Above all, stay with me. I'm getting a prop. Hold on.
Okay, there he goes. He's getting something. What has he got? Oh, there it is. It's a UD jersey.
He's not there. And he's not there every game. And I know he's practicing, but I look at a weird comparison. St. Louis Cardinals, same kind of organization in baseball. Yadi Molina was not there this year. Messy. Something felt off. This organization has had Harrison, Riley, Ellisberg, Spoelstra, and Udonis Haslem. 20 years plus. That's my biggest concern. Heat fans can laugh all they want. The who of this organization has garnered them 3 championships. The who since 2006 has garnered them 7 NBA Finals appearances. And that guy has been a part of all of them. And no matter what happens, from Smush Parker and a valet to LeBron James to whatever the heck happened with Gerald Green to Dwayne Wade here and not here, to Jimmy Butler, to Dwayne Dedmon throwing the back thing, the leg thing, whatever it was, always is squashed by that guy. That's my concern for them this year.
How about that? How about that? Where do you think UD watches the game from tonight? He sits in that table with Zoe and Pat Riley?
You imagine Pat Riley is the biggest badass there is in the world. You and I would probably be at the same games, talking to each other, hanging out with each other. You remember the Marlins when Tony Perez and Andre Dawson would like walk in together in the elevators?
Yeah.
I took elevators with them a million times, and I'm like, this is the biggest badass crew just walking in here. Imagine Riley walking in tonight with Zoe on one side and UD on another side.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a dream in life for me to like walk next to them. Oh my God.
I think that's the crew. I think that's the crew sitting at the table behind the basket tonight. I think that's the crew.
Yeah, that's a good crew. Listen, in all seriousness, do I have concerns about the X's and O's? Yes. The wear and tear on Jimmy? Yes. Is Bam going to be that 25-point scorer that Riley put out there? I don't know. Is Tyler going to be? I actually think he is. But is he going to let up 24 to score 25? I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I'm done doubting this team.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Like, it is easier for me to have more certainty around Cole Swider working than not getting Bradley Beal not working, let's say. Like, I'm not – okay, they didn't get Bradley Beal, who didn't play last night already, right? Yep. And Bradley Beal's a very good player, but, like, okay, they didn't get Bradley Beal. That kind of stinks. Dame Lillard is a gut punch. They wanted Dame Lillard. He feels like the Heat. I think he's going to be great for the Bucks, who are also a great organization. It doesn't have to be one versus the other because Heat and Bucks have nothing to do with each other on the Dame Lillard stuff, right? That's a great organization. That is great players. That is a lot of Heat guys throughout it over the last couple of years in there, by the way. But, like, what are we doubting? What are we doing doubting this organization over and over again?
Yep, I'm with you. I don't get the attitude. And there's a part of me as a Heat fan that likes that this is the way they go about it, that they still always get their shit done. They always get their shit done. The main thing's the main thing, right? And it's one of the things that I love about this organization. All right, that thing didn't work out there. It's all good. We're still going to be exactly where we need to be in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I love these kinds of organizations. I am enamored by these kinds of – I mean, you talk the Heat, the Patriots, the Spurs, the St. Louis Cardinals, these types of organizations that have this 20-year stretch of the ability to have the discipline to say goodbye or not say hello when others think you should. Oh, you should get this guy. You should get that guy. No, we're good. Yeah. We're good. Like, we're fine. Like, we're going to take the guy you've never heard of making $12 an hour, and we're going to make him a Hall of Famer. Like, you're just going to have to live with that. And that's what these great organizations do.
Yep. Really well said, man. Unsportsmanlike, 6 to 10 a.m. every morning, ESPN Radio, ESPNU on television, 6 to 10 a.m. Tell everybody else anything that I left out, how they can hear you guys, you and your new pals.
Yeah, well, you said the TV side, ESPN2, ESPNU, Sirius XM Channel 80, ESPN West Palm in South Florida, 106.3, where Zaz is as well on the ESPN Radio Network. So we are teammates there officially.
We're colleagues, man. I'm colleagues with all you guys there. Canty, Smallman, they're my coworkers. I'm ESPN Radio, you're ESPN Radio. We're coworkers.
We all are, and I will be displaying as much Heat gear as I possibly can. And I don't like that I've been put in a situation, probably fairly by you here, of, hey, defend the Heat and their moves or lack thereof this offseason.
Like, there's a lot of negativity, man, from the Heat fan right now.
You know who the one person outside of me, ironically, Sedano and Levitard have all been positive, obviously. But another person who's been really positive about the Heat, I don't know if you've noticed, is Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons, I know that's shocking.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
He did it last year, and he was right. He did it. I'm just saying, he did it. Like, a lot of people look at that number of, 44 and a half, and just like, what? Why would you not hit the over on that?
Yeah, it's going to be right around that.
You're a little bit more negative than you're letting.
I'm not negative. I'm trying to be realistic. I mean, it doesn't mean I don't think they're going to kick ass in the playoffs, but yeah, I think 44 is like right on the money. I do.
1 seed, baby. Let's go.
Evan, excellent job. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Zaz.